down, or did a guy make a play? Or
a little bit of both. They put two guys in a gap, and the left guard has to step down and block that gap, and the center has to snap the ball. And if he has more guys crowded in one gap or the other, he works that way. And the center needed to work and swell up in the gap a little bit on the left, and the left guard needed to step down in there and swell up a little bit better in the gap. And together they didn't fit up just right. They sneaked someone through, and they made a heck of a play on it. It's a pretty, it's a simple thing. We need to execute that part of it better. From the left guard standpoint and a center standpoint, it wasn't that far off, but far off enough to make a difference in the ball game, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was a kick at the right.
Everything was
level?
fine other than that. The guy coming off the edge was I thought was a lot closer than he was. It's a perception deal. He wasn't even close to it. Some people said the guy off the edge got it, and he wasn't near as close as I thought he was. It came through the A gap, unquestionably.
Carson, I think, had said after the game, just from watching the tape, that he heard that it came through the A gap, and if it did, that may be illegal because you can't touch the snapper or something. Can you clarify maybe what that means?
They changed the rules several years back, and for a good idea, because the snapper on a punt or a field goal is a lot different than the center snapping the football as far as defending himself. He has his feet spread so wide. That's one of the reasons why the spread punt is such a good deal, because... Go ahead.
I was just going to ask about health. Injury-wise, you come out okay out of the game?
We did well, very well, and I thought we managed to heat pretty good. We took every precaution, and it wasn't as hot as it was here for the Middle Tennessee game, but it was still awfully hot. It was 110 degrees with the heat index, on the turf. But we came out okay from an injury standpoint. We got a couple guys that won't practice today, but they'll be okay by Tuesday. Cottom will be out; he's got a sore knee, and Josh Davis will be back. He's been out for a little bit. He has a wrist operated on or something. He'll get back to practice on Tuesday. And Alberts will be held out today, but he'll be back. He'll be fine on Tuesday. Obviously, Rob Henry's out. Gabe is still out. EJ is still out. Gavin is still out. So we got the same guys out that's been out. And Cottom and Josh and Albert Evans will be out today only. They should be back by Tuesday. So we came out there in good shape and in good health. Thank goodness.
Has Rob Henry scheduled a surgery yet?
I'm not exactly 100% sure what that's at, so I'd rather not comment until I'm 100% sure before I say something that's not 100% accurate. I'll wait, But what else you got?
You had said last night that you didn't want to leave time on the clock to kick on third down in that last one. Was that decision fueled by how the defense did against Middle Tennessee State last week? That the very last
the field
goal,
goal,
one that got blocked. Yeah,
right,
you had
sure.
said that.
No, that doesn't have anything to do with the defense or anything. That's just you don't leave the opponent any time on the clock left to manufacture a play with if you can help it. And we were in control of that. I don't have any questions about that phase of the clock management as far as us marching down the field. And it was almost identical the week before with just amount of time left to do what we had to do. I think that part of it went just perfect, to be quite honest with you, other than the block field goal part. There's some other clock management issues that people have questioned, but I still look back on them, and there's always a rationale why we make a decision or a call that we make. A classic one is when we opted to punt it rather than to attempt the 50-something yard field goal, and that was a tough call because we had a great field goal kicker. The wind was swirling a little bit, but I asked myself, if we miss it, they get the ball here. If we punt it, they'll probably get the ball in the 2. The odds of them driving it down the length of the field aren't real good. We'll probably be right back here in a little bit with the football anyway if they have to start their drive on the -2 yard line. I think we're excellent right now as far as punting the football and hemming the opposition down. I've never been around any football team that's done as well from a punt standpoint and hemming the opposition down on the goal line. So to me, I looked ahead a little bit and said, boy, a couple minutes from now, do I want to be their offense maybe to be right here with the ball or our offense to be right here with the ball? Well, the best thing for us to do was to hem them down and try to play defense. And so I don't have any question about that part of it.
When you had the 4th and 1 and you opted to go for it, what was the play on Shavers? How was that? Was the blocking just kind of break down there, or after watching it?
There's a lot going on down on the line of scrimmage. There's a lot of traffic, and the play hit wider than it needed to. If sometimes running that type of play in the field compared to being on the goal line, even though they're the same play, what you're trying to get out of it, a couple of feet, compared to a first down, it's a different deal. And I didn't really feel like a couple times throughout the course of the game when we called that play that we really hit it where we needed to hit it at. When we had success not hitting it in the right hole in the field, it reinforced him to not necessarily hit it in the right hole down on the goal line. He's got to hit it up at the A gap a lot tighter down on the goal line. And again, everybody was telling me, take the points, but at that point in time, I wanted to make sure that we weren't, as a football team, sitting on our heels. That we wanted to be aggressive. I made that call and stand by it. The players wanted to go for it. I believed the players were going to make it. I believed he's going to pour it up in the right gap. And we were going to block him, and we were going to score on it or have first and goal, whatever it may have been. And that's why we went in that direction. I really felt like, coming out of the second half, that what we wanted to do was get ahead and stay ahead. That if we could get ahead and stay ahead, there's probably a good chance we win the football game. And at that point in time, that was a way for us to tie it up and then maybe get the ball back and get ahead and stay ahead. So you got to have some to call that, and we called it. That's all there is to it.
Were they really keying on your backs a lot, and did that free up Caleb to do some running on his own?
They probably surprised him when he ran it. They don't know. People don't know a whole lot about Caleb Turbush. I guess they don't think he can run, but everyone keys to backs. That's the linebackers keys and reads. I thought Caleb did a heck of a job. He executed that part of the offense very well. I thought he showed a lot of toughness. One thing that I really like about Caleb Turbush that I think is huge in a quarterback is he's hard to rattle. Even though he's still new to it, and as a result, offensively we're still not completely in sync. Caleb's the same guy every play. He plays to win. He's into it. I think he's tough. And something doesn't go his way, I don't see him going in the tank or getting rattled. And I really like that. I think Caleb Turbush is going to be an outstanding quarterback. We look at where Joey Elliott was at a couple years ago at the beginning of the season, and at the end of the season, throwing for 3,000 yards and winning a string of ball games. I think Caleb is, in a lot of ways, further ahead than where Joey was at that time. So I'm very pleased with it. A lot of things that we wanted to get done yesterday, we did. Things that we wanted to see improvement on from the very first game. For example, we didn't have any, maybe one pre-snap penalty on offense yesterday, and that's huge for us. And then we didn't have any turnovers on offense yesterday. And I think that we didn't get lined up wrong one time on offense yesterday. And defensively yesterday, we were not as consistent as I would like for us to be, but we were much more disruptive across the defensive front. We penetrated the line more. So some of the things that we wanted to get done to get better as a football team, we did, but we made too many mistakes, and the mistakes that we made on defense were very glaring. There are things that we can correct, but when they made those mistakes, they resulted in huge plays for the opposition, and that allowed it to be a close football game and allowed it to come down to a field goal, which got blocked, unfortunately.
You had said yesterday after the game that you've been opening up the games tight. How do you change that? I mean, do you tell the guys, or do you do a different approach? I mean, how do you get them not to be tight?
That's a fair question. I think success will help, in some ways. And then, again, we have to do a better job of coaching, so they're more sure. And I think that'll allow them to play a lot more wide open. And even you can be wide open and be relaxed. You have to be wide open to play the game. And you have to be sure. And we're still not 100% sure in some areas. And we can do a better job coaching. And they can do a better job of playing. But we're not that far off. I come in, I look at the film, and I think we're going to be a really good football team. I really do. It's unfortunate that we've made some errors last weekend that put us in position where we didn't win the ball game. But I think we're going to be a heck of a football team. We just have to be more sure and play better in some areas. But we can. We have talent and good people. If we didn't have enough talent and if we didn't have the right kinds of people, then I think that we would really have something to be worried about. But we have talent and we have good people. We have to do a better job of coaching and a better job of playing. That's the good news, though. That's good news, okay?
You alluded to the defensive front, but just the job that Kawan did in disrupting some of that, and also you're able to generate a couple sacks and get some pressure there. So was that a nice step to see from the defensive line?
Well, I thought Kawan played a heck of a ball game, and he had, I believe, double digits in tackles. I think he had the most tackles on our football team at 11. Okay, which is really good. I thought he really stepped it up yesterday and played harder than he did the week before. He made plays, which he should do. We were able to pressure the quarterback some better than we did the week before. So I saw some progress with that. We didn't get matched up pass defense wise in some ways with our linebackers and our back half a little bit. And when they saw that, they took advantage of it, and there were some big plays as a result of it. But we can get it fixed. We can get it fixed. We're looking at the film and we're looking at who we have to play with, and we know that we can get it fixed. And that's the good thing.
What did you like out of Antavian the first couple of weeks? He seems like certainly he can be a playmaker for you guys.
Well, he's everybody knows he's a good athlete, and he's fun to watch, and he's fun to be around. He really is. But yesterday he really got after it. There were some good and some bad as far as the blocking on the perimeter by wide receivers from an effort standpoint and from a physicality standpoint, as far as them going in there and putting their nose on the defensive guys and fighting and fitting up. I thought it was a good job done throughout the course of the day, and the best that Antavian Edison has ever done. I thought it was the most physical he's played as a blocker since I've known him. From a schematic standpoint, we didn't execute a couple of blocking schemes on the perimeter, divvying up different looks by the defense from a coverage standpoint, and we were apprehensive at times with one guy blocking, and that made the other guy apprehensive that was going to be blocking adjacent to him, and that part we didn't execute well. But as far as man-on-man and getting a nose on a guy, I thought Antavian Edison did the best he's ever done. I thought he really competed yesterday. Very, very proud of Antavian. Good teammate and a good player.
What did you mentioned Antavian. What do you think about the other wide receivers? OJ, Justin, all those guys. What did you think about them?
I thought OJ played well. He returned some kicks and did very well and made some people miss. I felt like he should have been more wide open on his kickoff returns and used his speed a little bit more rather than just his ability to make them miss. He needs to be a little more aggressive when he returns the football. I thought he made some plays on offense. There was one big play and the opening play of the game that we were waiting all week long to call that thing and get a touchdown on it, and we're just an inch away from that happening. So that wasn't his best play, but I thought OJ played well. I thought Justin Siller did some good things. I felt like he needed to catch the ball and cover it up and fall forward with the football more, go forward with the football more. And he's, as big as he is, I thought he could have played a little more physical after he caught the football on a more consistent basis. He did it some, not enough. But I was pleased overall with their performance. Certainly wasn't perfect, but pleased with it for the most part.
What's the spirit and mood like in the locker room after?
Well, it's very disappointing to lose, but we have 10 games left and a lot of good football players, and we have to address some issues as far as our play goes. We don't have any issues outside of our playing. We have to play better. We have to coach it better. We have to learn it better. We have to execute it better, and that's what we addressed in the locker room, and that's what we addressed today as a team. And even though we lost a game that we could have won, it doesn't change our goals or our aspirations or what we feel like we can do this season. And again, because we have good players and because we have good people, and we do have good players. We have lots of good players. We feel like we can still do very well and believe that we will.
Outside of winning, do you have any other goals or things you'd like to see next week that you maybe didn't see on Saturday, Bryce?
We have to be able to execute the pass defense better. We've been a little bit inconsistent as far as having our front play to a certain standard at the same time the back half of our defense is playing to the same standard. Sometimes the front is doing fine and the back half isn't matching up as well, and sometimes the back half is matching up well and the front half isn't disrupting the line of scrimmage like we need to. We got to be able to disrupt the line of scrimmage with our defensive line, and we have to be able to match up in the passing game in the back half and be a rock solid sound as far as our run fits go. And we have good enough players to do that with. We just have to get it done.